This might be a better thumbnail photo, actually. This is kind of fire now. Rise and shine, baby. I am so tired. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. Oh my gosh. I am really tired. I don't know how I'm gonna keep waking up at this time for a month. Good morning, guys. Happy July 1st, aka National Resident Day. I cannot believe that today is my first day of residency. Like, where did the last few years go? I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm all the emotions, but just like everything else the last few years, we're gonna get through this. This is the fit for the entire month. We got the OR scrubs, which I gotta say, these are probably the least comfy OR scrubs that I've ever tried on, but we're gonna have to live in them for the next month. All right, we gotta get going. I have a work phone now, and I feel like it's gonna be so hard to remember to bring two phones with me every day. Starting the day off with a win. Okay, I'm at the hospital. First morning here officially as a doctor. So like I said at the end of my last vlog, I am on my surgery block. So normally I would need to be here by like 4:30 to pre-round on the patients and then meet with the attending to round before we start cases for the day. But our attending told us not to worry about rounding today and just to meet him in pre-op before cases start, which is probably a good thing since it's our first day, so we aren't really familiar with any of the patients yet. But starting tomorrow, I'm gonna have to wake up early for the next month, which is gonna be rough. Hello.
Hello.
How you feeling?
Terrible. Who let this med student, who let this glorified super senior med student into an OR?
All right, guys, so I am done for the day. It's about 12:30. We only had two pretty short cases, so we've actually been done for about an hour and a half or so. For our first day, I think it overall went pretty okay. I introduced myself as Dr. Anderson like 3 times, and I feel like none of those times were super confident. Like, I feel like it was a little bit hesitant. I still feel very med student-like I'm a little bit shy, a little reserved. There's just a huge lack of confidence, and it's probably just because there's like a lot of imposter syndrome, and then obviously the nerves of being in a new place, new hospital, new responsibilities, all that kind of stuff. I can't really blame myself. Like, this is literally day 1 of a 4-year journey, so it's gonna take time to, gain my confidence, and I'm gonna keep learning. I still have so much to learn. But yeah, those are just like my initial thoughts right now. Anyway, like I said, I'm done for the day. Depaul is staying here because him and I are going to be swapping who is on call every other week. So for this week, Depaul is on 24-hour call the entire week, which basically means that if the emergency room calls with like a consult, or if one of the already admitted patients requires a general surgery consult, then Depaul will go and see that patient and then, talk to our attending and kind of update them and figure out a plan. And that can happen anytime from now until 7 a.m. tomorrow. We can take the call from home, but both Depaul and I live about 20 minutes away from the hospital. So it's kind of hard to tell like if it's worth driving home this early in the day versus maybe a little bit later in the day, like 7 o'clock or so, when maybe there's like a slightly smaller chance. But again, you can get called in at like 3 in the morning to have to go see an emergency patient. We actually already had a consult right after we finished our cases for the day. So again, you just really don't know when you're gonna get paged. So he's gonna hang out. I'm gonna go home and relax a little bit, get a workout in. I'll do some prep for our cases tomorrow. But yeah, I'll basically just enjoy the rest of my day. So I just got done at the gym, and I know it's really optimistic, but the goal is to really keep up with my exercise habits over the next month. During my 3rd year of medical school, when things got really busy, exercise was something that I did not prioritize as much as I really wish I did. And with 4th year, I was really able to get back on track with it. So I'm hoping if I can keep up with it during surgery, then I can maintain good habits through the rest of residency. Oh my gosh. Good morning, guys. It's about 3:45 in the morning, and I cannot believe I have to drive to the hospital right now. Look at that. The moon is still out. I seriously have no idea how I'm gonna do an entire month of waking up this early. Like, I don't even know how I'm gonna make it through today. I feel like I should take this off. But also my hair is like
I've been trying to get some.
absolutely disgusting right now.
So day 2 of surgery.
So day 2 of surgery. Yeah, Deepal and I just finished.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
It wasn't bad. It was just really long. So yesterday was really quick, where we only had 2 cases
and a three patient list to follow up on and write notes.
And we didn't
on.
even have to pre-round or round yesterday morning, so it was a pretty easy first day. Today was a lot more of what the rest of this month is going to be like. We got here at 4:15.
We got here at 4:15, and I'm on call, so I saw 3 patients before I left at some late time last night.
Yeah.
And the surgeon didn't want to keep me driving over back and forth, so he saved 3 new patients for us in the morning, plus I want to say 7 other patients to like follow up on or see what's going on with them.
Which we needed to be rounded on them or pre-rounding on them by 6 a.m.
Pre-rounding, have all the charts at least like started and ready to go by 6.
And then round with the attending at 6 until
whenever.
So today we finished rounding at like what, 6:40, 6:45?
Yeah.
No, almost 7.
No, it was closer to 7 because on the flip side of that is cases start at 7:30, and so we have this like period of time where it's strongly encouraged to get all your notes done with assessment and plans before cases start, so that the people who are relying on surgery's decisions to make their own decisions can actually like know what's up with our plan, and B, because it's better for learning if both of us are in the case.
Yes. So we ended up having a total of 6 cases today, and it is currently 4:15. So we've been here nearly 12 hours. Yeah. So this is a lot more of what it's going to be like for the rest of the month. And Deepal is on call.
I'm on call this week, so I have notes to write already that I saw between cases. And I will probably hang around until yesterday. I hung around until like 7:30 or 8 p.m. Just in case some consults came my way and I didn't have to drive forward and back. But we'll see. If they say a perf doesn't wait for anybody.
Exactly.
So if a perf happens and I'm on call and they call me, I'm waking up and I'm going.
I don't envy you, but that'll be me next week. So I feel like I felt more like a resident today, just because we had more tasks. And we did our first notes and our first orders today too.
Yeah, we put in like diet, and I have nurses who are messaging me on iMobile about like whether or not a patient can have ice chips or what's the status with like their surgical plan, stuff like that. So you feel like
little upgrades.
Yeah, you feel like you're making a difference, and at the end of the day, you can just remind yourself like I'm getting paid.
Finally, getting paid to be here, which is not what it's all about, but it is.
No, it helps.
Nicer.
If I was on 24-hour call in med school, I would not agree. I would simply decline a 24-hour call in med school.
But you wouldn't, because as a med student, we just wouldn't say no. But yeah, hopefully the rest of the week goes smoothly, because this is basically our life for the next month. For now, I'm going to go home.
I'm going to stay here and do my notes.
Good luck.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, so I am at the park right now, going for a run. I figured since I spent 12 hours in the hospital today, that I should go exercise outside today, just because I didn't feel like going to the gym and being cooped up inside again. Like, I've kind of been craving the sunlight. The issue is that it's over 100 degrees here in Vegas, and so being out here is extremely difficult and extremely draining. But I feel like if I don't do these things after my long shifts, then I'll never develop good habits for residency. So we're out here and doing the hard thing. All right, so it is almost 4 in the morning. It's my 3rd day of residency. I don't know how I'm gonna keep waking up at this time for a month. I am so tired. I got such terrible sleep last night. I have no idea why, because I feel like I got in bed pretty early. But this is gonna be a really long month. All right, so Deepal and I just finished rounding on a list of 16 patients this morning.
16 patients, 3 new patients. We did about hour or less.
It was a lot, but we somehow made it, and it went really well. And now we have food, and we're gonna go do some charts. All right, so it's about 11 a.m. I am now leaving the hospital. I spent the last couple hours catching up on notes, putting in orders, and running around the hospital to do a couple tasks we needed done for some of our patients. But since we have no cases today and I'm not the resident on call, Deepal is, I get to go home, which is really nice and very different from yesterday where we were rounding in the morning, had to do our notes, and they would cases all afternoon. That's pretty much what this rotation is going to be. There's going to be a couple of really hard days, then there's going to be days like today where are a lot more relaxed. And it's kind of a theme with residency where you're going to have moments where there's a lot of work, a lot of things that need to be done, you're really stressed out. And then there's going to be other moments where you can actually breathe and eat and just relax for a second. So part of being a resident is being able to adapt to various stressors and workloads. But it's all easy to say because I'm not the resident on call this week. So next week it's gonna be a lot tougher where I actually have to stick around and wait for any consults we get after our day is done. So I'm gonna enjoy this free time while I can. I'm so tired, guys. So Deepal had his first night of being woken up by other staff members to ask questions about patients.
Yep, I have a patient who is NPO and he doesn't really know why, and he was talking to the nurses all night about it. So
they kept calling Deepal.
And they kept calling me because my name's in the chart.
This is what being a doctor is all about. Okay, so we are done with rounds and our notes and orders are in, and now it's time for the first case of the day. All right, the cases are done for the day.
Yes, sir.
Got some breakfast and some confetti cake to celebrate the 4th of July.
Actually, that's fair. Yeah. I thought you were just grabbing this for the heck of it.
That too. Freedom! All right, so it is just before 9 in the morning. My day is actually already done because we only had the one case. And as I've said already this week, I'm not the resident on call, Deepal is. So I actually get to go home. This is definitely the earliest I've been out all week, which is incredible, but it's also 4th of July. So that's why there weren't really a lot of cases. There was limited OR staff. So speaking of 4th of July, my friends are having a get together tonight. And it was the first time so far that I've had the thought, well, I have work in the morning. You know, I have to be at the hospital at like 4:30 in the morning. Do I go out and hang out with my friends tonight to celebrate, you know, the holiday, or do I not go and stay home and get good rest? One of the things in medical school that really decreased my quality of life was when I started skipping out on things so that I had more time to study or more time to get more sleep. And I didn't like the feeling of missing out when at the end of the day I was gonna be tired anyway. And I think that hanging out with friends and doing fun things would have just improved my quality of life. So even though I have to be up early tomorrow, I'm still gonna go have a good time tonight, hang out with my friends, because to me, it's not worth missing out on those things. Like obviously it's gonna happen sometimes, but I think that when you do think you can handle it, it's worth it because that's what life's all about. All right, with that said, I'm gonna go home and relax for a bit. Good morning. So I ended up being out until about 10 p.m. last night, celebrating the 4th of July with my friends. We had a little poker night. I'm exhausted. Like I only slept for like 5 hours, but I don't regret going out because again, if I don't start prioritizing things like my friendships early and make a habit of pushing them off, then it's only gonna get worse during residency. So I wanna develop those good habits early. So I'm really glad that I went out last night, but I am really tired now. What's up? Rise and shine, baby.
Grind never stops. Hospital's 24/7.
So Deepal also came last night while he was on call, but you actually had to come from the hospital because why?
I got called in for an acute appendicitis and I had to see the patient. Luckily we didn't operate on them.
Which we'll do today, but
we'll do this morning.
Deepal had to go from home. He had actually just gone home because he was pretty sure we wouldn't get any more consults and it was safe. And then he went home, had to come back, but then he still made it to poker night.
Yep.
And now we're tired. But it was worth it because we saw our friends and it's important to prioritize those things in residency, right?
Yes.
All right, so we're done pre-rounding. We got 2 new consults overnight, so we're gonna go see them, go see our current patients, and then go around with the attending. Deepal and I were just saying that we actually feel like we're in our rhythm now.
Yeah. Like we like know our list, we know what to do.
We know the patients besides like the new ones, but we have like a good workflow, splitting up the work pretty evenly. Like, I don't know, we got a good system down.
Got a good system.
Figuring it out. We did it.
We did it.
We had a planned surgery this morning, and then we had an add-on after we saw one of our new patients on rounds.
Both went super smooth though.
Yeah.
So we're done with cases. I'm gonna stick around for a little bit because I'm on call.
And I'm going home. Oh. Yeah, I can do it.
Why'd you get bunk cakes?
Okay, so it's about 11:30 a.m. We've kind of just been chit-chatting with some of our co-residents and grabbing lunch and kind of just hanging out. Like I said, I'm actually good for the day, and Deepal and I actually worked out a schedule where, since we don't operate on Saturdays unless there's like an emergency, only one of us really needs to come in to round on our patient list. So since Deepal's on call, he'll take
The entire list.
tomorrow.
I'll
and
see
then-
all the patients, write all the notes.
and I'll get a golden weekend,
Yeah.
which is pretty huge. And then next week when I'm on call and,
I'm off
here,
call.
yeah.
I'll be able to have the long weekend.
Exactly, and I'll cover the list on Saturday. So it's a good system where every other weekend we can have a golden weekend versus both of us being here 6 days a week.
We were watching the Glaucom Flecked video last night about like the intern who gets gaslit into thinking that having a golden weekend is something special, and we're there.
That's exactly what
That's
we are.
exactly
It does
where we're
feel
at.
special, which is crazy because a golden weekend is just a normal weekend to most people. But anyway, some end of first week reflections. I think we're both enjoying this block a lot more than maybe we were at the beginning of this vlog. Like, we were nervous. I remember I was at least talking about being nervous for this block being our first block of residency.
Yeah.
And today we just were both like, this is really enjoyable. Like, we're coming in, we know what to do.
We know our patients, we know the plans.
Exactly.
We talk shop with the attending. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah. He's like, yep, yeah, let's go, yeah.
And then we go to the operating room first thing every morning, get the cases done,
Yeah.
and then we're good
And
for
it's
the
bang,
day.
bang.
Yeah, it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
And like, we've been here for almost 8 hours already, and it kind of doesn't really feel like it. Like, the day is still young, but we've had like a full day of work. But it's been enjoyable. It's been actually a lot of fun. We're enjoying this a lot more than we really thought we would. And it'll be a fun rest of the month, I think.
I think it also goes to show, like, both of us could have maybe considered surgery in a different life, but the way we were trained, like our initial exposures to surgery, it wasn't a very optimal learning environment for the students, and a combination of other factors kind of made surgery seem like not like a great specialty to be in.
Yeah.
When in fact, I feel like if I had trained here and this was my first experience, like
We might have considered it.
we might have considered
Yeah.
it a little bit more.
No, it's been fun. I think one of the big differences too, though, is like the difference between being a resident and a medical
Yeah.
student. Like, as a medical student, like, we weren't really doing anything when we were on surgery, for example. Like, you're kind of just waiting around. Maybe you get to like scrub in. That's it. As a resident, we both feel like we have so much more control over our patient's care, and we feel more responsible for the patient. So I feel like we have more of an interest in all the patients on our list versus when we were medical students, you're pretty much just like worried about the 1 or 2 patients that you're presenting on and not really paying attention to the rest.
And then you lose the
list.
big picture.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
we're
yeah.
both like very in tune with every patient on our list, even though like one of us is seeing like the new consults because DePaul's been on call. Like, he's updating me on the new patients, and then
Yeah.
we're both seeing them the next day. Like, it feels more like, again, we're responsible for every patient on the service. It just feels better, like we're putting the orders in. Like, the attending was like, oh yeah, put an order for Norco 5, and I was like, oh, like, I can do that.
Who, me?
Yeah, or like earlier, one of the pre-op nurses was like, oh, we need an order for this. And I was like, oh, I can do that.
Well,
And it felt
yeah.
so nice to be able to say that versus when I was a medical student, I'd be like, oh yeah, let me go ask one of the residents, or let me just find out for you. It's like actionable. So
Yeah.
It's been really fun. We're having a good week. And for me, my first week of residency is done, which is awesome. I might have a different experience next week though, because I'll be the one on call. So it'll be interesting. I'll be vlogging that, and it'll be interesting to see how my experience differs compared to this vlog.
Yep. Like, I had to come in last night around 7:30 to see a patient. it would have been an operation had they been any sicker, and like that's part of call. Like if somebody's gonna pop a hole in their intestine, like it can be 1 a.m. Like you still gotta go operate.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes next week. I'll take you guys along with me, but for now, thanks for joining us in our first week of residency. Hope you guys like the vlog, because there's a ton more coming, especially since the two of us are going to be up to a lot of shenanigans. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.